and this is my first friend battle against my friend CptxBIRDZEYE, and he has an interesting team, and I honestly thought he was gonna, half of it looked like a rain team, and only one of them isn't shiny. But yeah, so it was an interesting battle, but I didn't get to do one thing I wanted to, and I sent out Garchomp and Rotom, he sends out Snorlax and Kingdra. Now I used my obvious technique of Earthquake and Discharge, which did less than I hoped it was, but Earthquake was just to weaken Kingdra. I was hoping to make sure it would faint. Snorlax will just do extra damage to Snorlax, and then Discharge doesn't affect Jarky and doesn't do much to Kingdra at all, which I was disappointed with. But then it paralysed Snorlax, which I was very happy with. Then he does Ice Beam, and I was really surprised that Garchomp actually survived. But then when he does this, I was like, oh god, he's dead. But then he fired it at Rotom, which he probably thought Garchomp would, go down. But that's alright. But then Snorlax recovers with leftovers. Then I just do the same again, because he's probably going to destroy Garchomp, I thought. And so yeah, then it puts Kingdra on a few HP, Snorlax on a bit, then Discharge finishes off Kingdra quite nicely, and does a bit more to Snorlax, which is very good. And there's Kingdra fainting, and yeah, and then Snorlax does Ice Beam on Garchomp, and bye bye, it goes down, which is but I actually stuck to my order completely for the whole match, which I don't think he knew or not. And yeah, Snorlax recovers a bit more with leftovers, so I send out Weavile, which was the third choice. Thought it was just a good all-rounder, and then he sends out Lapras. So I went for a technique. So I go with Brick Break to finish off Snorlax, and luckily it did. I was a bit worried it would just leave it on 1 or something, but luckily it just went down. And then I thought of a good technique of powering up Rotom. So I used Charge Beam. It does a bit, and then his special attack rises, so it gets stronger. It gets stronger. Then he uses Hydro Pump on Weavile, which surprised me how much it did. I thought it'd do a bit way more than that, but I'm quite glad actually. And then he restores some health using the Shell Bell. And he sounds like his Gliscor, which at the time I thought was very stupid against my Weavile. So obviously I go for an Ice Punch. And he added a berry this time, so it weakened it quite a bit, which was annoying. But then my luck would have it, he actually froze, which was pretty cool. Then I power up Rotom some more using another Charge Beam, and its special attack rises again, so it's pretty... Rotom was pretty good to have out, and he can't even attack because Hydro Pump misses. And then he calls back his Gliscor, obviously, sends out his Gengar, which he used Hypnosis on me last time we fought. But then I didn't expect this. He sends out his Lapras, and now this was amazingly good tactics. He sent out his Electvire, so I go with Ice Punch. It was hopefully to finish Gliscor, but it just does a bit to Gengar. Now this is very special because I did that to finish off Lapras, but he raises his Electrified speed. I always thought he had static. Then he uses Thunder on Slasher, which wipes her out, and yeah, that was annoying because I couldn't really deal with Gengar after that, but I still stick to my order. And then I use Shadow Ball. With its massive rage of special attack, does quite a lot to Electvire. And then he uses Psychic on my Rotom, and if that was actually aimed at my Weavile, that would have been very stupid because that wouldn't have hit, obviously. So I stick to my order and sends out Roserade, Floja. But then his Quick Fall activates, and he uses Psychic on Roserade, does a bit, just hangs in there. Now I thought this was a bit extreme just to kill Roserade. He uses Earthquake, which only hits Roserade. And I don't know what other attack he has on his Electvire. All I know he has Thunder and Earthquake. And yeah, so But then I used Signal Beam and I forgot it was part poison. But luckily I was a critical. And then, so still sticking to my order, I send out Infernape. And he uses Thunder, which confused me because I thought he was going to use Earthquake again. Because that would have finished off my Infernape. And then I got paralysed, which was annoying. But then I attack him with Thunder Punch, Fire Punch even. And that finishes his Electvire off. And but yeah, but then I tried to power up Rotom some more with a Charge Beam and it doesn't. But I was a bit annoyed that I didn't get to use my Noctowl against his Gengar because he last time he used Hypnosis on me and made me fall asleep. And then there's Lapras, and then he sends both his ones he withdrew earlier. But yeah, my Noctowl is one of them that can't fall asleep and it has Uproar, so it was to counter his Hypnosis. Then he uses Ice Shard on Rotom, which Rotom obviously survives, and then he recovers with using the Shell Bell. Then Rotom finishes off Gliscor with a Shadow Ball, which was due to its vast special attack upgrades. So there it goes. And then the last attack, I thought I'd go for an overkill with Close Combat. And then that's it. I beat him again. This was, of course, a rematch. The first one didn't get recorded. But yeah, this one. It was an intense battle, but I would have liked to use my Noctowl against his Gengar. But oh well, I won. And Noctowl didn't even make an appearance. So yeah, rate, comment and subscribe.